Welcome you all. Today we are going to discuss on the topic Reserve Bank of India, which is a central bank of India. This session includes history, organizational structure, functions, and some basic information about the currency system of India. First, we will see the origin of Reserve Bank of India. The Reserve Bank of India was established as per the recommendation of Hilton Young Commission on April 1st, 1935. It was on the basis of the Reserve Bank of India Act 1934. Till 1937, the headquarters of RBI was in Kolkata. Thereafter, it was shifted to Mumbai. It has a central board of directors which comprises of 20 members. Among the 20 members, there will be one governor who is the apex authority of Reserve Bank of India and 4 deputy governors. Some of the historical background of the development of Reserve Bank of India is given in this section. Prior to RBI, all the functions of central banks were done by the Imperial Bank of India, which was established in 1921 by the Imperial Bank of India Act 1920. By this act, 3 presidency banks were amalgamated into one bank, and that bank is known as the Imperial Bank of India. And this bank was created with the idea of making it as a central bank and was allowed to discharge all the functions of central bank like currency and credit, government receipts and disbursement, public debt management and the issue of securities and bonds, bankers' bank, etc. Whereas in 1926, the Royal Commission on Indian Currency and Finance, which is popularly known as Hilton Young Commission, recommended that the central bank must be a separate bank or central bank must be created separately. In accordance with that, the Royal Commission, which was established in 1920, recommended to the government for the creation of central bank in 1926. In 1927, a bill was introduced in the Legislative Assembly, but it was withdrawn due to the disagreement among the various sections of the people. Later on, this movement was revived in 1931 by the Indian Central Banking Enquiry Committee. In 1933, the White Paper on Indian Constitutional Reforms recommended the creation of Reserve Bank. A fresh bill was introduced in the Legislative Assembly, and in 1934, the bill was passed and RBI started its operation on 1st April 1935. This is the brief history of the origin of Reserve Bank of India on April 1st, 1935. RBI didn't start as a government-owned bank. It started as a privately owned bank. The share capital of RBI when it was started was rupees 5 crores, and this 5 crores was divided into shares of 100 rupee each, fully paid up. In the beginning, the entire capital was owned by the private shareholders, and out of this 5 crores, the private shareholders subscribed nearly 49,78,000 crores. The private shareholders subscribed about 49,78,000 rupee. That means the subscription by the central government was only 2,20,000. That means the RBI was started, or RBI was a privately owned bank at the time of its introduction in 1935. After that, after independence, the government passed the Reserve Bank Transfer to Public Ownership Act 1948, and This act took over RBI from the private shareholders after paying appropriate compensation. This nationalization of RBI took place in 1949, and from January 1st, 1949, RBI started working as a government-owned bank. The organizational structure of RBI is given in this slide, and the organizational structure comprises of central board of directors. At the top it is the governor, then there will be deputy governor, executive directors, principal chief, general manager, etc. This is the organizational structure of RBI. The Central Board of Directors is the main committee of the central bank. The Government of India appoints directors and other members of the board. The Government of India appoints directors of the RBI. The board consists of governor and not more than 4 deputy governors, 4 directors to represent the regional boards. RBI has regional representation also. In north it is in Delhi, in south in Chennai, east Kolkata, and in west in Mumbai. These are the regional representation of RBI, or these regional centers has regional directors also. RBI has 2 training colleges for its officers for giving trainings are Reserve Bank Staff College, Chennai, and College of Agriculture Banking, Pune. In addition to this, there are 3 autonomous institutions run by RBI. They are National Institute of Bank Management, NIBM, Indira Gandhi Institute of Development Research, IGIDR, Institute for Development and Research in Banking Technology, IDRBT. These institutions functions under the RBI. There are also 4 zonal training centers at Mumbai, Chennai, Kolkata, and New Delhi. These training centers also provide training facilities to the personnel of RBI. Now, the governor is the topmost official of RBI, and he is appointed for a period of 5 years. Reappointment is also possible. Governor is appointed by Ministry of Finance, Government of India, as per the Section 8 of the Reserve Bank of India Act 1934. Governor and Deputy Governors are also appointed by the Government of India, Ministry of Finance. List of governors of RBI is given in this table. From 1935 to 2020, we have nearly 25 governors. In this section, I'll give a brief introduction to some of the RBI governors. The first RBI governor was Sir Osborne Smith. He was governor from 1935 to 1937. He belongs to the British government. In 1926, he started his career as a managing governor of the Imperial Bank of India, and he worked only for 3.5 years. After that, he resigned from the post, and he didn't sign any bank notes during his tenure. The second governor of RBI was Sir James Braid Taylor. He also belongs to the British government. He was a member of Indian Civil Service, held the office of Currency Department of Government of India, Deputy Controller. He was the Deputy Governor of RBI, etc. During his period, he introduced fiat currency, etc. And he was RBI governor from 1937 to 1943. That is, James Braid Taylor was the second governor. The first and second governor belonged to the British government, East India Company. The third governor of RBI is the first Indian governor of the RBI. His association with the bank started in the year 1939, and after that in 1943 he took over the charge as a governor of Reserve Bank of India, and he was the first Indian governor of the Reserve Bank of India. He represented India at the Bretton Woods negotiation in 1944. Uh, During this period, the nationalization of Reserve Bank of India happened, and after that, he held the office of the Union Finance Minister for the period 1950 to 1956. Next important governor was Benegal Ramarao, was the longest serving governor of RBI. He worked from 1949 to 1957, about 8 years. He served as the governor of RBI, and during his period, the planning era was introduced. The State Bank of India was developed or originated by transforming Imperial Bank of India as per the All India Rural Credit Survey Committee report. Then he introduced the minimum reserve system for the issue of currency by replacing the proportional reserve system, which was prevalent till that period. And he also resigned by 1957 due to the differences of opinion with the finance minister. The present governor of RBI is Sri Shaktikanta Das. He is the 25th governor of RBI, with the charge as the governor of Reserve Bank of India on December 12, 2018. Now he is the governor of RBI. In this section, we are going to discuss the functions of RBI. The functions of RBI can be grouped under three headings. They are, or three sections. They are traditional functions, developmental or promotional functions, and supervisory functions. The traditional functions are more or less similar across all central banks around the world. Developmental, promotional functions and supervisory functions are country specific, or these functions changes in accordance with the nature of the country, or in accordance with the country, or in accordance with the nature of the economy. First, we'll discuss the traditional functions of RBI. Traditional functions of RBI includes issue of currency notes, banker to other banks, banker to the government, exchange rate management, credit control function, and supervisory function. Let us see what are these functions. The Reserve Bank of India has the sole right or authority or monopoly of issuing currency notes, except 1 rupee notes and coins of smaller denominations. The RBI has the power not only to issue and withdraw, but even to exchange these currency notes for other denominations. It issues these notes against the security of gold bullions, foreign securities, rupee coins, exchange bills, and promissory notes, and Government of India bonds. These are the security items that are used for the issuing of currency in India, and we follows a minimum reserve system for the currency issuing, the printing of currency. The second important function is the Reserve Bank of India act as the banker to other banks. RBI is the apex monetary institution. It has the obligatory powers to guide, help, and direct other commercial banks in the country. That means they provides guidance, helps, and directions to the commercial banks in the country. The RBI controls volume of bank reserves. They allows or other banks to create credit, etc. Every commercial banks has to maintain a part of the reserve with RBI, and their commercial banks can also approach RBI for meeting their emergency need of fund also. This provision is called, or it is known as, the RBI as a lender of last resource. The three important functions that are performed by RBI in favor of commercial banks in India can be categorized as follows. They are: RBI are the custodian of cash reserves of the commercial banks. They act as the bank of central clearance. They are the lender of last resorts. That is, they are the custodian of cash reserves. That is, a portion has to be kept with the RBI. Then second one, they act as the central bank of central clearance. All clearance must be made by the RBI. Third one, they act as a lender of last resort if an emergency need for fund arises. These are the functions performed by RBI to other commercial banks. Then the third important traditional functions of RBI is that RBI act as a banker to the government. This RBI work as an agent of the central and state government. They performs various functions such as they accept deposits, taxes and make payments on behalf of the government. That is, they accept deposits, taxes and make payments on behalf of government. Next one is the RBI work as a representative of government at the international level, or they represents government at the international level for various discussions, etc. RBI maintains government accounts, provides financial advice to the government, manages government public debt, maintains foreign exchange reserves on behalf of the government. In addition to this, it also provides overdraft facilities to the government. All these facilities are provided by RBI to the government or on behalf of the government or to the government. These functions are done by RBI for the government of India. Then fourth important function is the exchange rate management. This is also an essential function of RBI, and this exchange rate management is to maintain stability in the internal value of rupee. That is, to maintain price stability in the economy. It prepares and implements foreign exchange rate policy for attaining exchange rate stability. In order to maintain exchange rate stability, the demand and supply of foreign currency are bring close together, or by bringing demand and supply foreign currency close to each other, the exchange rate stability is attained or can be attained. That means exchange rate management is another important function of Reserve Bank of India. This is to maintain stability in the foreign exchange rate of rupee. If there is variations, that will affect the export, import and other investment policies of the India. Next important function of RBI is the credit control function. That is, RBI controls the credit creation process in the country. If credit creation remains unchecked or unregulated, it will lead to the inflationary cycle or if credit creation is below the required limit, then it will be harmful to the economy. It will retard the growth of the economy. Therefore, both these has to be checked, and RBI regulates the credit creation capacity of commercial banks by using various credit control tools. That is, Reserve Bank of India controls the credit creation process of the bank. Next important function is the supervisory function. RBI has been endowed with vast powers for supervising the banking system in the country. That is, the entire banking system in the country is supervised by the Reserve Bank of India. It has the power to issue licenses for setting up of new banks, for opening up of new branches, decision about the minimum reserves, inspection of the commercial banks in India and abroad, provision of guidance and direction to the commercial bank, periodical inspection and audit of commercial banks, etc., comes under the control of the Reserve Bank of India. All these functions are done by Reserve Bank of India in favor of other for promoting the banking system in the country. That is, they issue licenses for new banks, new branches, reserve systems, decisions regarding reserve system. They inspect the functioning of commercial banks. They provide guidelines, directions, periodical inspections and audit of the commercial banks. These are the traditional functions of RBI, that is issue of currency notes, banker to other banks, banker to the government, exchange rate management, credit control function and supervisory functions. The second category of functions are developmental or promotional function. These are country specific. They varies in accordance with the nature of the economy or in accordance with the country. The country specific functions includes development of financial system, development of agriculture, provision of industrial finance, provision of training, collection of data, publication of reports, promotion of banking habits, promotion of exports through refinance, etc. These are some of the important developmental functions of Reserve Bank of India. The first important function is the development of financial system. Then what is a financial system? This financial system comprises of financial institution, financial markets and financial instruments. All these three components comprises of or are known as the financial systems. Sound and efficient financial system is a precondition for the rapid economic development of the nation. RBI has encouraged establishment of main banking as well as non-banking institutions for providing credit requirements to the various sectors of the economy. That is, the financial system, development of the financial system in India is promoted by the Reserve Bank of India, or one of the important objective or the function of Reserve Bank of India is the promotion of the financial system, and this financial system comprises of financial institutions, financial markets and the financial instruments. Financial institutions means banking and other non-banking institution. Financial markets means money market, capital market and other markets. Then financial instruments means various instruments of financial market like equity, shares, debentures, government securities, etc. The development of financial system is one of the important development functions of the RBI. The second developmental or promotional function is the development of agriculture. We know that India is an agrarian economy, and earlier majority of the banks were not ready to provide credit facilities to the agriculture sector. The RBI has provided, or RBI has introduced special attentions for meeting the credit needs of agriculture and allied activities or allied sectors. It has introduced various institutions for the promotion of agriculture sector of India. Some of the important institutions like Agriculture Refinance and Development Corporation (ARDC), National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development (NABARD), regional rural banks, etc. Some of the examples for the development or which are created by the RBI for the development of the agriculture. Then third important function is the provision of industrial finance. We know that rapid industrial growth is the key to the faster economic development, or the industrial sector needs huge capital for its development. Adequate and timely availability of credit to small, medium and large industries are therefore very important, and RBI has introduced various specialized institutions like ICICI, Industrial Development Bank of India, IDBI, Small Industries Development Bank of India, SIDBI or SIDBI, and Exim Bank, Export-Import Bank of India, for the promotion of trade, etc. Well, these institutions are for promoting the industrial sector of the country. Then, fourth important function is the provision of training. The RBI also provide training facilities to the staffs of banking industries. The RBI has bankers training colleges at several places. Some of the important institutions are National Institute of Bank Management NIBM, Bankers Staff College BSc, College of Agriculture and Banking, etc. Collection of data is the next important function of Reserve Bank of India. RBI collects, process and disseminates statistical data on several topics like interest rate, inflation, saving and investment. These are quite useful for the researchers and policy makers. The next important function of RBI is the publication of report. RBI has a separate publication division. This division collects and publishes data on several sectors of the economy. The reports and bulletins are regularly published by the RBI. It includes weekly reports, RBI annual reports, reports on trend and progress of commercial banks in India, etc. This information is made available to the public also at a cheaper rate. Promotion of banking habits is the next important duty or the function of RBI. RBI tries to promote the banking habits in the country, and for that, in accordance or they have introduced various measures for promoting the banking habits of the country and for improving the saving habits as well as for making them as a part of the banking system of the country. That is, promotion of banking habit is another important function of the Reserve Bank of India. Promotion of export through refinance is also done by the Reserve Bank of India. RBI always tries to encourage the facilities for providing finances for foreign trade, especially for exports from India. The Export-Import Bank of India, that is Exim Bank, the Export Credit Guarantee Corporation of India, ECGCR, etc. are some of the important institutions that comes under the directions of Reserve Bank of India. They provide financial helps for the exporting sector. These are the developmental functions or promotional functions of RBI, that is development of financial system, development of agriculture, provision of industrial finance, provision of training, collection of data, publication of reports, promotion of banking habits, promotion of exports through refinance. Another category of function is known as supervisory function, that is supervision of the entire banking system or the financial system of the country. Some of the supervisory functions are granting licenses for opening of bank, opening of new branches, closing down of branches, etc. Second function is bank inspection of bank, that is it is to reduce the risk associated with the banking industry. Then Reserve Bank of India controls the non-banking financial institutions in the country. They implements deposit insurance schemes for the protection of the deposits of small depositors. All deposits up to rupees 1 lakh, all deposits of rupees, all deposits of or deposits below 5 lakhs are insured with this corporation. So these are some of the important supervisory functions of RBI. They are granting license to the bank, bank inspection, control over non-banking financial institutions, implementation of deposit insurance schemes, etc. All these functions are performed by the Reserve Bank of India for the promotion of the development or for the development of our country. In this section, we are going to discuss about some of the basic information about the currency system of the country. But we know that one of the important function of Reserve Bank of India is the issue of currency notes in the country, or RBI has the monopoly for the issue of currency notes in India. Indian currency is called as Indian rupee or INR. 1 rupee consists of 100 paise. The symbol of Indian rupee is given as this one. It resembles both Devanagari letter Ra and the Latin capital R with a double horizontal and at the top. Every banknote issued by Reserve Bank of India shall be a legal tender. What is the legal tender? Legal tender is a coin or banknote that is legally tenderable for discharge of debt obligation, or simply it means that we can, or it has to be used at any place in India without loss of its value. It is generally accepted for making purchases or for making payments, etc. And this is expressed or this is guaranteed by the central government subject to the provision of subsection 2, section 26 of RBI Act 1934. That is, all the currency notes or the banknotes issued by Reserve Bank of India is a legal tender, and it is in accordance with the Reserve Bank of India Act 1934. Rupee 1 notes are issued by the Government of India. It is also legal tender. Coins issued by Government of India under Section 6 of the Coinage Act of 2011. That is, the coins are issued by the Government of India, and this comes under the Coinage Act of 2011. That is, coins are minted by the Government of India, and the rupee notes, except rupee 1 notes, are issued by the Reserve Bank of India. This sole or the monopoly of the issue of banknotes is given in the section 22 of the Reserve Bank of India Act 1934. Section 25 of the Reserve Bank of India states that the design, form and materials of banknotes shall be approved by the central government after consideration of the recommendations made by the Central Board of RBI. This means that the design, form and materials are to be decided by the Government of India on the basis of the recommendation of the Central Board of Reserve Bank of India. In the case of coins, the RBI's role is the distribution of coin, and it is minted by the Government of India. The design and minting of coins in various denominations will be on the basis of the design and minting of the coins in various denominations are as per the Coinage Act of 2011, and it is done by the Government of India. The paper currently used for printing of banknotes in India is made by using 100% cotton material. That is, the material used for printing of paper currency in India is the 100% cotton material. On the banknotes, 15 languages are, in addition to the Hindi, which is prominently displayed in the center of the notes. English is on the reverse side of the banknotes. As per the section 26 of RBI Act 1934, the bank is liable to pay the value of banknote. This is payable on demand by RBI, being the issuer of the banknotes. The promissory clause printed on the banknotes, I promise to pay the bearer the sum of rupees, gives that, or it is an obligation on the part of bank towards the holder of banknotes to pay the amount, or the banks are liable to pay the value of the banknote, and it is as per the section 26 of the Reserve Bank of India. The clause written on the printed on the banknotes assures that I promise to pay the bearer the sum of rupee. That means if we give 100 rupee notes to the bank, they have to make the payments in accordance with the value of that banknotes. Now we will see where the banknotes are printed. Banknotes are printed at 4 currency presses. That is, the banknotes are printed at 4 currency presses. Out of these 4 presses, 2 are owned by the Government of India through its corporation. The press owned by the Government of India is the Security Printing and Minting Corporation of India Limited, that is SPMCIL. SPMCIL are located at Nasik in Western India and Dewas in Central India. Or SPMCIL has 2 presses, one at Nasik and the other one at Dewas. This is under the Government of India. And 2 other presses are owned by the Reserve Bank of India. They are wholly owned subsidiary, and it is the Bharatiya Reserve Bank Note Mudran Private Limited, or it is known as BRBNMPL, that is Bharatiya Reserve Bank Note Mudran Private Limited, BRBNMPL. And the 2 presses of BRBNMPL are at Mysore in South India and Salboni in East India. That is, together we have 4 presses for printing of currency notes in India, 2 under Government of India and 2 under the Reserve Bank of India. The coins are minted in 4 mints owned by the SPMCIL. We have seen that the coins are printed by the Government of India and the press owned by the Government of India is the SPMCIL, and the mints are located at Mumbai, Hyderabad, Kolkata and Noida. These presses mints coins. These coins minted by these 4 presses are distributed by the Reserve Bank of India in accordance with the Section 38 of the RBI Act. That is, the distribution will be done by the Reserve Bank of India. It is printed under the direction of Government of India. In order to distribute the currency notes and coins, the RBI has a system known as currency chest. Through currency chest, banknotes and rupee coins are distributed among the economy or among the various sectors of the economy. These currency chests are mainly the Reserve Bank of India. As on 31st March 2020, there were nearly 3,367 currency chests in India. Through these currency chests, the Reserve Bank of India distributes the banknotes and coins. The Reserve Bank of India has 19 issue offices for the issue of currency. These issue offices of currency are at Ahmedabad, Bangalore, Belapur, Bhopal, Bhubaneswar, Chandigarh, Chennai, Guwahati, Hyderabad, Jaipur, Jammu, Kanpur, Kolkata, Lucknow, Mumbai, Nagpur, New Delhi, Patna, Thiruvananthapuram, and a currency chest at its Kochi office. Further, a wide network of currency chests maintained and managed by scheduled banks are part of the currency management architects. Direct remittance by the presses to the currency chest are also possible. Reserve Bank of India office located at Hyderabad, Kolkata, Mumbai and New Delhi. Mint-linked offices receives coins from the mints and it is distributed by the Reserve Bank of India. These offices then send the coins to other offices of the Reserve Bank. for the distribution, and from there it will be distributed to the currency chest and small coin depots. The bank branches receives banknotes and coins from the currency chest and small coin deposits. That is, currency and coins are distributed through various currency chest as well as the small coin depots. The highest denomination notes ever printed by the Reserve Bank of India was rupees 10,000 notes in 1938. That was the highest denomination of rupee that was printed in India. The highest denomination was of rupees 10,000. It was printed in the year 1938, but it was demonetized in January 1946. But later on, it was again introduced in the year 1954. Then it was demonetized in the year 1978. Therefore, the highest denomination of notes that was printed in India by the Reserve Bank of India was the rupees 10,000, and it was demonetized totally in 1978, and it was introduced, or it was printed in the year 1938. All the banknotes issued by RBI are backed by the assets, or we have to keep some security for the printing of currency in India. These securities may be in the form of gold, government securities, foreign currency asset, etc., as defined in section 33 of RBI Act. In this section, we'll go through these types of banknotes issued in India. We have introduced 4 types of banknotes. First one is the Ashok Pillar notes, then Mahatma Gandhi series, which was introduced in the year 1996. Third one is Mahatma Gandhi series 2005 banknotes. Fourth one is Mahatma Gandhi new series, that is prevailing now. It was introduced in the year November 2016. The first banknote issued by the independent India was 1 rupee note issued in 1949, and it includes the Ashok Pillar on the banknotes, or the design of Ashok Pillar was also printed on the rupees circulated by the, or printed by the Government of India. And we have introduced bank notes in this series in different years, and we have introduced various banknotes of different denominations in different years. And in October 1987 we have introduced rupees 500 note also. It also comes under the Ashoka Pillar banknotes, but it was introduced with the portrait of Mahatma Gandhi and Ashok Pillar watermark. This is the first series of banknotes which the second series is the Mahatma Gandhi series, which introduced in the year 1996. It was introduced with the Ashok Pillar. Third series is the Mahatma Gandhi series, which was introduced in the year 2005. It was introduced in the denomination of 10, 20, 50, 100, 500 and 100 rupee, and it has some additional features also. The legal tender of banknotes rupees 500 and 1000 of this series was withdrawn with effect from the midnight of November 8, 2016 as part of demonetization. That is, we withdrawn rupees 500 and 10,000 of this series, that is Mahatma Gandhi series 2005 banknotes, on November 8, 2016. On that day, we have introduced the Government of India introduced demonetization in the economy. The fourth series is Mahatma Gandhi new series, which includes so many features, and it was introduced in the year 2016, and it highlights the cultural heritage and scientific achievement of the country. The design for the banknotes has been indigenously developed on the themes reflecting the diverse history, culture and ethos of the country, and also its scientific achievements. The color scheme is very sharp and vivid to make the banknotes a distinctive one. The first banknote from this new series was introduced on November 8, 2016, and it was a new denomination of rupees 2000 with a theme of Mangalyaan, that is, rupees 2000 was introduced in India in the new Mahatma Gandhi series on 8th November 2016, and the theme of the rupees 200 was the Mangalyaan. And thereafter, various denominations of the rupees like rupees 500, 200, 150 and 20 and 10 have also been introduced. The Mahatma Gandhi series 2015 and 2016 has so many security features, like it has a security thread, intaglio printing, see-through, register, etc. Then watermark and electrotype watermark, color shifting ink, fluorescence, latent image, micro lettering, new numbering pattern, angular bleed lines and increase in the size of identification mark. It is wallet suitable, or it has a feature of mobile aided note identifier. It is known as Mani. Is a mobile application launched by Reserve Bank of India for aiding the visually impaired person to identify the denomination of Indian banknote. This Mani is the mobile application for which is useful for the persons with for the person who are visually challenged. The coins in India are presently issued in denomination of 50 paise, 1 rupee, 2 rupee, 5, 10 and 20 rupees. Coins up to 50 paise are called small coins. Coins of rupee 1 and above are called rupee coins. Coins can be issued up to the denomination of rupees 1000 under the Coinage Act of 2011. That is, we can mint a coin of face value up to rupees 1000 under the Coinage Act of 2011. We are minting up to the rupees 20 now. The rupee coins and rupee 1 rupee are issued by the Government of India, and therefore 1 rupee note and the coins are the liability of Government of India. The Government of India is responsible for designing and minting of coins of various denominations. The quantity of coins to be minted are decided by the Government of India in consultation with the Reserve Bank of India. For printing of currency notes, we follow a system known as minimum reserve system. It is done on the basis of the minimum reserve system. This system is applicable in India since 1956. Prior to that, we followed a proportional reserve system. And according to the minimum reserve system, Reserve Bank of India has to maintain assets at least of 200 crore rupees at the time. The RBI has to keep a minimum reserve of rupees 200 crores comprising of gold coins and gold bullions, foreign currencies, etc. Out of total rupees 200 crores, rupees 115 crores should be in the form of gold coins or gold bullions, and the rest is in the form of foreign currency. That is, the minimum reserves required for printing currency notes in India is rupees 200 crores. Out of this, 115 crores should be in the form of gold coins and gold bullions, and the rest should be in the form of foreign currency. The purpose of minimum reserve is to maintain the money supply in the economy without increasing the inflation and maintain the confidence of the general public. That is, it is to maintain the money supply in the economy under the control of Reserve Bank of India. That is, they introduced a minimum reserve system in 1956. In this section, some of the important policy rates as well as the reserve ratios used by Reserve Bank of India is given. Policy rates used by Reserve Bank of India includes repo rate. Repo rate is the repurchase rate. It's one of the key monetary policy rates of the central bank or the Reserve Bank of India. This is the rate for lending short-term monies to the bank. This is essentially to control credit availability, inflation and deflation in the country. It is the lending of money to the commercial bank. Reverse repo rate is the another important rate. It is the rate at which central bank of the country, that is Reserve Bank of India, borrows monies from the commercial bank within the country. This is also to control the money supply. The first one, repo, is a system to provide loans to the commercial bank. In the reverse system, Reserve Bank borrow money from the commercial system. If there is inflation, then commercial banks has to, if there is inflation, Reserve Bank will use reverse repo transaction. They will take or they will borrow money from the commercial banks in order to control the money supply. If in the economy there is shortage of money supply, then repo transactions will be undertaken and the RBI will give loan, loan or the short-term lending facilities to the commercial bank in order to infuse liquidity into the economy. Another rate is marginal standing facility rate. This is the facilities to borrow funds overnight from the RBI against government securities. This is a very short-term borrowing schemes for the scheduled commercial bank, that is overnight lending or the borrowing facilities for the commercial bank. Another important rate is the bank rate. Bank rate is the rate charged by central bank for lending funds to the commercial bank, or it is the lending rate of central bank to the commercial bank. These are some of the important rates of policy rates of RBI. In addition to this, we have, or RBI has some reserve ratios also, like cash reserve ratio, that is the percentage of cash to be held with the Reserve Bank of India by the commercial bank. Then statutory liquidity ratio, that is the minimum percentage of reserves that is to be maintained in the form of cash, gold and other securities with the central. One is in the form of the cash, the second is in the form of the gold and other securities. The policy rates as on July 2020 is given here. Now the CRR is 3%, SRR is 18%, policy repo rate is 4%, reverse is 3.35. Repo means for lending rate, this is borrowing rate, marginal standing facility rate is overnight credit facility rate is 4.25, bank rate is also 4.28. These are the lending rate, base rate. More details can be obtained from the RBI website.